The wheels are in motion to book Aljamain Sterling's first title defense. UFC 279 is earmarked for the bantamweight king's first fight since winning the title outright, which so far doesn't have a venue, but it is thought that Aljo would be the main event, or at the very least, the co-main. Today we're talking about TJ Dillashaw being Aljo's expected opponent for UFC 279, and the bantamweight title. Stay with us. Let's get straight into it then. What's going down? Well, the UFC is known to value TJ Dillashaw, and are thought to want to book the former champ for Aljo's first defense. If the fight were to be booked and Dillashaw wins, it would be his third stint as bantamweight champion, having first dethroned Renan Barão back in 2014, before losing the belt 2 years later to Dominic Cruz. He went on to regain his title a year later, beating Cody Garbrandt in one of the biggest grudge matches of the decade. He was of course stripped of his title after being banned for taking performance-enhancing drugs in 2019. The fight between Dillashaw and Sterling has been confirmed on TJ's end by Dillashaw's manager, Tiki Ghosn, and if he was to win the title again, he would join a club with only one other member, Randy Couture. That club would consist of people who have won a UFC title 3 times, with Couture achieving the feat in 2002. Sterling won the title outright after a year of jostling back and forth on Twitter with Peter Yan. Their first bout ended with Yan being disqualified thanks to an illegal knee, but Sterling dominated the Russian during their meeting back in April, but failed to finish him, even after having his back for almost 2 entire rounds. Dillashaw is many people's bantamweight GOAT, but he will always have the stain of being a drugs cheat hanging over him. Do you think this is a fight to make the top of the bantamweight division? Next up, Dillashaw has explained where Yan went wrong against Sterling. Stay tuned. TJ has recently outlined what he thinks were the mistakes Peter Yan made in his rematch against Aljamain Sterling. The former champ was speaking to Submission Radio, expressing his surprise at Yan's performance. He said, "I definitely expected Yan to win. Yan made some big mistakes and showed a lot of holes in his game. It was crazy to me that he could not get out of the body triangle, going in the wrong direction, and pretty much just focusing on not getting finished rather than winning." Of course, everyone knows that Yan's game is stand-up, and he is regularly touted as one of the best boxers in the promotion. But getting out of a body triangle is pretty standard stuff for these guys. TJ said he started slow, and Aljo was there to capitalize in the first round. He went on to explain that Aljo then dominated the next 2, referring to him by his nickname of the Human Backpack, saying, "The only 2 takedowns he got, Yan gave up his back. Like, you know the guy, his strongest suit in martial arts is him on the back. He's not a finisher. He's not dangerous on his feet, so you just can't let him take your back." Yan's coaches were even warning him not to give up his back, which TJ pointed out was the first thing he did. He finished by saying Yan had some brain farts on that. What did you guys make of the fight? So what does Aljo make of TJ? Stay with us to find out. With the fight looking more and more likely to happen by the day, Aljo has reacted to the news. He was discussing the upcoming bout and the likelihood that the buildup would remain respectful between the pair, but he seemingly has no time for cheats. A fan on Twitter had told Sterling he should be respectful to Dillashaw, proving that the fans know absolutely nothing about respect. After Dillashaw's behavior of cheating to win, he can demand no respect from anybody, least of all a champion who has won the belt fairly. Responding to the fan who claimed Dillashaw was the bantamweight GOAT, Sterling said, "F him. I don't respect dirty cheats in my weight class. Acts like he's been beating guys on just skill. Nah, bruh, you're a cheater and been a cheater. Funk him for real for real." Dillashaw was banned for using EPO after the Cejudo fight, in which he suffered a TKO defeat, the first time he had ever been finished, and Funkmaster seems to think TJ doesn't deserve a title shot, and a lot of people are in his corner. Some critics have basically said it validates cheating. Knowing you can serve your ban and get a title shot in your second fight back borders on crazy. Do you think TJ deserves a title shot? More news from the bantamweight division now, with Sugar Sean. Stay tuned. Sugar Sean O'Malley returned to the octagon at UFC 276 this past weekend, where he was up against the ever-dangerous Pedro Munoz. However, the fight ended in an anti-climax, as an accidental eye poke by O'Malley on Munoz saw the fight waved off in the second. The no contest was a frustrating end to the fight for O'Malley, who just appeared to be getting into the groove. However, he attracted criticism after celebrating by mimicking a basketball shot when the fight was called, then claiming to be the first man to ever finish Pedro in the post-fight press conference. O'Malley isn't everybody's cup of tea, and his refusal to take the Chito Vera loss on his record suggests he sees himself as unbeatable. However, as much as he doesn't like it, that loss will be on his record for the rest of time. O'Malley has also suggested that Munoz was 100% looking for a way out, saying, "I was piecing him up. I didn't get hit once. He came in there and said, I'm gonna kick his legs and take him down. He tried kicking my legs and it damaged him more." He went on to mock Munoz on Instagram after the fight, closing one eye and saying, "Hey guys, sorry my fight didn't go as planned. I got my effing poked," proving the bantamweight contender has absolutely zero class. More evidence of why people are so eager to see him get knocked out. What do you make of O'Malley's behavior? Next up, Triple C has been on. Stay tuned. Henry Triple C Cejudo was buzzing around UFC 276, annoying anyone who would give him the attention he so craves. And during O'Malley's post-night interview, Cejudo was on hand to antagonize him, which was actually pretty funny given the perceived importance Sean O'Malley affords himself. Whilst being interviewed, O'Malley was interrupted by Cejudo, who shouted, "I'd love a tune-up. What do you say, precious? I'm good to go. When would you want to bend bend the knee, at what time, because I think you absolutely suck. Go on, carry on with the interview. Go ahead. The camera then quickly panned to a nearby Davidson Figueiredo, who seemed to find the whole thing pretty funny, before O'Malley responded by saying, "What do you weigh?" alluding to the fact that Henry was a bit out of shape, then saying, "That guy's cringy. No one takes that dude serious." However, Cejudo seems to have struck a nerve with O'Malley, who continued to talk about him in the post-fight press conference, complaining that he was running around drunk in the backstage. Although he certainly didn't appear drunk in the clip, O'Malley continued, "He got escorted out. He was tripping over things, running into things. Looks like he's on drugs. Looks fat. I don't know if he's having a midlife crisis or what. Seems like Henry got right up in O'Malley's nose, and we're completely here for it. What do you guys make of Henry's words?" And finally, Pedro Munoz has given his side of what went down during the fight. Stay with us. As we know, the fight was called off after O'Malley poked Munoz in the eye, even if O'Malley doesn't agree with trained physicians who recommended it be stopped. And after going to hospital to have his eye checked, it was confirmed that Munoz had, in fact, suffered a scratched cornea. Munoz said in Portuguese, "To explain briefly what happened in the fight against Sean O'Malley, I was poked in the eye in the first round, but kept fighting, and was hit with a low blow shortly after." Munoz went on to say how he again suffered another eye poke in the second round, which left him temporarily blinded in that eye. He told of how doctors gave him a special eye drop to open up the eye so they could assess the damage, before saying, "They did an exam and the medical report I have is that there's a scratch in the cornea all the way around it. I couldn't open my eye because of that and couldn't see anything. The referee asked if I could see at all and the doctor decided to stop the fight." That's what happened tonight. Now that we have the actual medical report, O'Malley might stop crying, but probably not. What do you guys think about this? As usual, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to tune in again next time when we'll be discussing all sorts of cool bits and pieces. Bye guys!